Hello guys, and welcome to another Honkai Star Rail video. Alright, so it's time for another Honkai Star Rail account overview video, and honestly this one might be a little bit shorter compared to the other videos because I really didn't make much progression on my account in the last 2 weeks. I've basically just been grinding relics in the new Cavern of Corrosion as well as the Quantum set Cavern of Corrosion for my Zealot. And as usual, I'll have a screenshot pop up here very shortly. And as you can clearly see here, I managed to get 28 out of the 30 stars available in last week's of Memory of Chaos. I wasn't really expecting to get 30 stars last week because, like I said, my account really didn't change much. What did surprise me, however, is I managed to actually get 2 stars on floor 10, and I actually cleared it with only 19 cycles left. So I think if I actually really tried and pushed, I could have 3-starred floor 10. However, I actually had more difficulty with floor 9 somehow. On average, the runs I did for floor 9, I would have about 12 to 15 cycles left. So no matter how lucky RNG wise or how well I played it, I don't think I was able to 3-star floor 9. So I didn't really bother trying to 3-star floor 10, as the 29 stars don't really get you anything. It's just for flexing, I guess. And the main issue I have with floor 9 is that one Mara-struck general that constantly heals if he has any of his allies with that revive buff. It's really annoying. An easy way to counter it, obviously, is just have buff removal by using Pella or Luocha. Unfortunately, I don't have Luocha, and I don't have my Pella built. I believe if I actually had my Pella built up, I could probably 3-star floor 9 as well. So that might be something I look into either for this season of Memory of Chaos or the next one. Alright, now let's quickly go over my characters. Like I said, not much has changed other than some of their relics. So let's get started off with Bailu. These are his stats. Same light cone. Same traces. Same relics, actually. Eventually, I want to replace this 4-piece Musketeer set with something like the new 2-piece HP set and a 2-piece speed set in the new Cavern of Corrosion. Or I could run maybe that 4-piece speed set from that new Cavern of Corrosion as well. That would work very well on any healer that can heal the entire team with their ultimate. Of course, no Eidolons on Bailu. Next is my Silver Wolf. I believe she did get some relic upgrades, but other than that, all her traces are relatively the same. Eventually I want to max this out. Probably want to wait until another double drop event before I do that. Okay, here are her relics. I believe she got a new headpiece. This is from, I think, my Serval. I basically just transferred it from my Serval to my Silver Wolf, and the effect hit rate actually bumped her up to around 95%, which is almost enough to guarantee her to always land her skill. These are her gloves, the same one as before, same crappy crit rate headpiece, same amazing boots, and same sphere and link rope as well. Eidolon 0. Alright, next is my Serval, which I actually benched for the last 2 stages of Memory of Chaos, floor 9 and floor 10, because she didn't really serve any purpose. Both of the enemies were resistant to lightning, and I think I was better off just using Silver Wolf as a debuffer to shred the enemy's defense on my Dan Hunk's team. So kind of sucks that Serval just wasn't being used at all in the last 2 stages, but I mean, she's still useful in the earlier stages, so there's that. Lycone is the same. Traces are the same. Her relics have been moved around. These aren't her actual relics, other than the sphere and link rope. Well, the chest piece as well, that hasn't changed. This is her sphere and her link rope. I believe this belonged to my Ting Young, but since I wasn't using Serval, I just swapped their headpieces. This was originally on her. That's her chest piece. Boots! I used to run these for the 2-piece lightning set, but I think I actually replaced it with this just because I like the substats on this. And this could be useful on any future quantum DPS character that I plan on building. Maybe someone like Qingque or something, or like I said, any other quantum damage dealer that gets released in the future. Unfortunately, she's still at Eidolon 0. Sushang, I just been leveling up very passively during my daily level grinds, which I actually haven't been doing because I've been too busy with the newer content and 1.2, as well as trying to grind Memory of Chaos. So we'll probably get back to that eventually. Like I said, I haven't really, this is just random gear I tossed on her. And she's at Eidolon 0, unfortunately. Alright, now let's talk about my Zile, who actually got a pretty big upgrade and boost to her relics. As far as Light Cone and Traces, they are both unchanged. So let's move on to her relics. Headpiece, I believe, is the same, or I might have swapped it with either Dan Hung or Serval, one or the other. This is her newest gloves for the Quantum set, and the rolls actually turned out to be pretty decent. I would have liked it to gone in a crit rate maybe once, but she still has around like 70% crit rate without it, so it's not bad. Most of the rolls went to crit damage, so that's really good. One of the rolls went the attack, and none of them rolled in the defense. So overall, this is going to be pretty much a permanent piece for the most part. Her chest piece, in my opinion, is the biggest upgrade. I finally got so lucky and managed to snag a crit damage main stat quantum set chest piece with pretty much near perfect substats. The rolls were okay. It rolled twice into flat attack, which is not ideal. It's definitely the worst substat, but to make up for it, it did roll in the crit rate, I think 3 times. I believe it rolled in the crit rate either 2 or 3 times. So 9% crit rate on a crit damage chest piece is absolutely amazing. And that allowed me to complete the 2-piece quantum set. Of course, I want to go for the 4-piece in the long run, but I don't have the perfect pieces for that as of now. She got a slight upgrade to her boots. Before, she was running some ragtag like +9 attack boots. I managed to get a pair of musketeer boots that had like okay substats. They're definitely not the greatest, but the rolls were really good. It dodged out on, well, actually it landed in flat HP once, but it landed on crit rate twice and break effect once. So overall, not a bad pair of boots. Probably not going to be permanent on any character, but for now, they're good enough. Her sphere is the same as before, a pretty decent and solid quantum boost planar sphere that I managed to +15, and the link rope is the same set, allowing her to get +8% crit rate and some extra damage on her ultimate attack. The crit rate and speed on this are nice. The effect hit rate, it's whatever. I believe it rolled into effect resist on +15. So that was a little bit unfortunate, but can't really complain. And of course, Eidolon, she's at Eidolon 0. Alright, now let's talk about Dan Hung. I believe he actually got the biggest upgrade out of all my characters in terms of relics. Even more so than my Zile, because if you guys remember from my previous account overviews, his crit rate was around like 60 or 61%. As you can clearly see now, he has a whopping 75% crit rate, and a decent amount of crit damage to go with it. It's actually around 100%. So I consider that decent. Obviously, he's running a crit rate chest piece, so the crit damage is not going to be as insane as my Zile's. Light Cone is still the same. Traces are obviously still the same as well. Alright, these are his relics. He was running a 4-piece musketeer set before, but instead I decided to remove that 4-piece musketeer set for better pieces and instead go with a 2-piece musketeer and a 2-piece, this one is called Messenger Traversing Hackerspace, which is, it does the same thing. It gives you 6% speed. You just lose out on the basic attack damage, which Dan Hung doesn't really care about. And the rolls on this were pretty much near perfect. It landed into defense percent 1 time, but all the other rolls went into crit rate. So this is pretty much going to be a permanent piece on any damage dealer that wants crit rate and speed. I believe gloves. Oh, these gloves used to be on my Zile, but since I wanted the 2-piece quantum set, took them off, gave them to my Dan Hung. These pair of gloves are absolutely cracked on any damage dealer. The rolls, I mean, they can't really roll into anything bad. Break effect is probably the worst stat, but even then, it's still a pretty solid stat to be rolled into. He has the same crit rate chest piece for the musketeer set. Very broken, really nice. He can even use the effect hit rate. And this is where my Dan Hung, I believe, got the largest boost in terms of his relic upgrades. Before he was running a +9 musketeer attack boots. Now he has this instead. The substat rolls were so good that I actually decided that, screw it, let's just +15 this. It'll give him a huge attack boost and a bunch of crit rate and crit damage. Luckily for me, however, it only rolled into flat HP once, and all the other rolls went into either crit rate or crit damage. It's actually pretty funny. He has better attack percent boots than my Zile. My Zile would absolutely love to have these pair of boots. However, that would mean she would have like a weird rainbow set. And honestly, I believe the small attack percent, she already has enough attack percent. I believe that this would be better suited for my Dan Heng rather than my Zile. Planar Sphere, he actually got a small upgrade. Before, he had a +9 wind damage boost with substats that were basically unusable to a certain point. This one is slightly better. It gives him some speed and some crit rate. Initially, I thought this particular Planar Sphere would be amazing for someone like Blade if I decided to pull him. However, as you can clearly see, the rolls, yeah, I'm just gonna let you guys see the substats and what it rolled into. So as a result, this Planar Sphere is only going to be a temporary Planar Sphere for both Dan Heng and maybe even Blade if I decide to pull him. He has the same link rope. It's a attack percent link rope on a HP set, which is not ideal, but I still decided to +15 it because the substats were just pretty good overall. It rolled into effect resist only once, and this two-piece set in general, even though it's not ideal for your damage dealers, it does provide a good HP buff as well as an attack buff to everyone on the team, so it benefits everyone essentially. Eidolons, he's still at Eidolon 3. Here's my Natasha. Pretty much everything is unchanged on her. Same light cone, same trace levels, same relics that I do want to replace eventually. I'll probably do something like a two-piece outgoing healing set with either the speed or HP set, preferably probably the speed set. And Eidolon still at Eidolon 2. Alright, it's me, the Fire Trailblazer, who actually got a small upgrade, but not in his relics. His relics are still the same. Light cone is the same, traces are the same. Like I said, relics are still the same. He got an upgrade to his Eidolons because I completed the main storyline quest and managed to get the last piece, or the last whatever Eidolon material, I forgot what it's called, to make him Eidolon 6, and it's actually a very strong Eidolon. After the Trailblazer uses Enhanced Basic Attack or Ultimate, their defense goes up by 10% and stacks up to 3 times. Essentially a 30% defense buff that greatly benefits the Fire Trailblazer. Speaking of Eidolon 6 characters, let's talk about my March 7th now. I believe she's mostly unchanged. I might have swapped... Oh, actually no, I think she got a few relic upgrades, quote unquote. Lycone is still the same, Moment of Victory at level 80. Traces are definitely still the same. Yes, she did get, I guess, an upgrade. Yeah, I guess I can call this an upgrade. Even though the 4-piece Knight of the Purity Palace is absolutely broken on her. The pieces I had for it were just not ideal. Anyways, this is the same headpiece, same gloves, and I decided to upgrade this effect hit rate headpiece, or what piece is this? Body piece, for the speed set instead, just because the boots, which I will show you guys in a moment, for this speed set are actually pretty decent. Now this one's whatever, it's going to be a temporary piece. The substats are pretty bad for March in my opinion. These are the speed boots I wanted to upgrade for March 7th because it is a pair of speed boots on the speed set with defense percent and effect hit rate, 2 of her most important substats that she wants. However, if you take a look at what it rolled into, yeah, got quite unlucky. So all the rolls basically rolled into crit damage. I'm not sure how I feel about these pair of boots. I'm probably going to scrap them sometime in the future and eventually replace them with something better. But for now, they'll do. They get March to a speed threshold that I'm happy with. So, just temporary boots. Honestly, they're still better than the defense percent boots I had on her before with the Knight of the Purity Palace set. So yeah, definitely an upgrade, but not by much. Her Planar Sphere and Link Rope, I believe, are still the same. Actually, this Link Rope belongs to my Fire Trailblazer, but I swapped it with March 7th because she was having issues staying alive. So, eventually I'm going to put this back on my Fire Trailblazer. And of course, you guys should already know that my infamous March 7th is at Eidolon 6. Okay, last but not least is my Ting Young, who I managed to actually use on the last 2 stages of Memory of Chaos this time around. This time I was more focused around doing damage rather than surviving, so I decided to put her in instead of my Serval. Her Lycone is still the same. I eventually have to upgrade it to level 80 and 6-star it, but for now, I don't have the materials for that. Traces are still the same. I should probably also get to working on this. Her last major trace is quite useful. The energy regeneration is very strong. I believe her relics are the same, it's just that I swapped the headpiece with Serval's headpiece. This technically belongs to my Serval. Same with the gloves, this belongs to Serval as well. This is Ting Young's chest piece or body piece. This is Ting Young's boots as well. Pretty fitting for her. She definitely wants the defense and HP. Same planar sphere and same energy regeneration link rope. Although I did manage to actually get one that might be slightly better once I fully upgrade it. I'm still on the fence about it because Ting Young does want the attack percent and speed, but ideally this one has speed as well and the defensive stats that she might actually need, because as we all know, the Ting Young memes of her having the highest aggro value. And the effect hit rate and effect resist are like mediocre. Actually, she completely doesn't use the effect hit rate, and the effect resist is mediocre stat. Versus this one, she has pretty much every single substat is useful on her. Maybe not so much the flat defense, but we'll see what this rolls into. If it rolls into a lot of speed, HP, and defense percent, then I'll probably swap this over with this one. I'm willing to give up a little bit of attack for just more survivability on my Ting Young. After all, if my Ting Young is dead, she's not going to be able to support my team anyways. Eidolons, she's at Eidolon 0, unfortunately. Okay guys, well that's going to be it for this Honkai Star Rail video. I'm going to try and push for 30 stars in this current season of Memory of Chaos. Whether I decide to do that by pulling for Blade or building up Pella is a whole nother story. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe, or join if you wish to support my channel even further. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next Honkai Star Rail video. Peace.